5 simple ways to destroy bad habits. We all have some good habits, as well as some bad ones. The only problem is too many of us don't know how to eliminate the bad habits from our lives. Even more, people confess to wanting to stop their bad habits but struggle when it comes to removing them for good. Before you can successfully destroy your bad habits, you have to know exactly what a habit is. A habit is a routine of behavior that is repeated continually, and that occurs in the subconscious mind, which is why so many people aren't fully aware of their bad habits. The key to overcoming your bad habits is first to develop some insight into the origin of the habit. Ultimately, your life is a sum of your habits. The process of building a habit can be divided into 4 categories: the cue, the craving, the response, and the reward. Breaking your habits down into these fundamental categories can help you understand what a habit is, how it works, and how you can break it. This is known as the habit loop. Primarily, a cue is developed, which, when activated, triggers a craving. The craving then motivates a response, which provides your brain with a reward, which satisfies the desire, and ultimately becomes associated with the cue. Together, these 4 things end up forming a neurological feedback loop that eventually allows you to develop automatic habits. If you are looking to eliminate your bad habits, here are 5 simple ways to destroy them for good. First, quit indulging in your bad habits. One way that you can eliminate bad habits is by not indulging in them, not even for one day, starting now. Unfortunately, this is much easier said than done. Unfortunately, it can be incredibly challenging to get rid of a bad habit, because it is deeply ingrained in your brain. When the bad habits trigger repeats, it can quickly reignite the old behavior. This is the greatest weakness in this particular method. Often, when an old pattern or behavior recurs, when you slip back into your old bad habit just once, you tend to make a huge fuss over it, and you feel like you wasted all of your time being abstinent. You end up becoming crushed by self-disappointment that when you slip just once and return to your old habit, you completely slip back into your old ways. However, there is a power to such an approach. If you are able to quit cold turkey and persevere in your resolve, you can prove to yourself that you are entirely capable of making changes. Change your habit loop. Recent studies discovered that habits are stored in the brain in a different way than more standard memories. Typically, when it comes to your habits, your emotion triggers a behavior that ends when the emotional urge has been satisfied. There are twofold repercussions to these findings. First, if your habits are hard-coded in your mind, it means they are impossible to remove. This means that once those habits have been formed, they will stay with you for the rest of your life, which is why drug addicts and alcoholics relapse into their addictions, sometimes after decades of sobriety. Second, there isn't any such thing as getting rid of your old habits. Instead, you have to overwrite the bad habit with a new routine. The most efficient method for achieving this is by reprogramming the behavior. However, you have to make the new habit stronger than the old habit if you want it to stick. Fortunately, by changing your habit loop, you can more easily solidify the new behavior, which will make it much more difficult for you to return to the old habit. Use small steps. Using small steps to overcome a bad habit is a combination of quitting cold turkey and changing your habit loop as discussed above. While you don't agree with your bad habit, you also freely admit that you aren't able to quit your habit cold turkey. This makes it necessary to analyze your behaviors and identify your triggers. When you can accomplish these 2 tasks, you can gradually limit your bad habit. For example, if you are trying to break the habit of eating poorly, you can start small by indulging in fewer sweets. With each passing week, you need to work on reaching another milestone in eliminating your bad habit from your life. After enough time has passed, and you've continually worked toward making small changes in your habit, you will finally arrive at a point when you can completely stop engaging in your bad behavior automatically. Theoretically, with this method, you should be less prone to feeling discouraged when you slip. You have to assume some amount of failure with this method but are better equipped to keep your motivation. This method is much more convenient for those who are able to quantify their bad habits. Track your progress to reinforce your determination. While this isn't necessarily a method for breaking a bad habit per se, it is beneficial in every instance of getting rid of a bad habit. In the case of the above method of taking small steps toward getting rid of your bad habit, the approach is relatively apparent. If you are about to restrict yourself by, say, a few cigarettes, then you need to track the number, right? When you change your habit loop, it is also a great idea to start tracking what is and what isn't working. Tracking your progress works in the same way as building your good habits. It focuses your attention on the essential things and provides you with the motivation to keep moving forward. It can also provide you with valuable data points that can help you to identify your pitfalls and critical points. Focus on your good habits. This method will ultimately kill your bad habits by starving them. Getting rid of bad habits focuses your attention on the negative aspects of your life. It can end up feeling incredibly restrictive rather than liberating. When you are focused on eliminating bad habits, you watch yourself all the time and end up denying yourself the pleasures that you're used to having in your life. While you know that in the long run, it is better to avoid engaging in your bad habits, but those bad behaviors are a part of who you are, whether you like it or not. They were the mechanisms that you use to relieve stress and help you cope with anxiety and low self-esteem. Without them, your life might seem to be less bearable. So, instead of focusing on your bad behaviors and what you can't do, it is much better for you to focus on new activities that contribute to your life in a more positive way. To break your bad habits, funnel all of your energy into habits that will improve your experience rather than avoiding what is wrong with it. While your bad habits will continue to lurk in the depths of your brain, the only time they will resurface is if you lower your guard. When it comes to eliminating bad habits from your life, it is essential to remember that you are about to embark on a long and challenging journey. You will continually be tempted to return back to your old ways and risk succumbing to your old habits. While these methods will help you to break your bad habits, it is vital that you remember that the temptation to fall back into your old ways will always be there. Don't continue to let your bad habits dictate your life. Take the first positive steps toward changing your bad habits today and start living a happier and healthier life now.